Hey, it's everybody's favorite everything, SJ Stevens. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another day of 31 Days of SJ. So, let me do a quick recap because there are a lot of new people here. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing the messages, the comments, all the things. If you do not follow me on TikTok, Instagram, I am currently not on Facebook, but TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. That's where you can find me. Um, let's see what else. I will be dropping the information for my website this week because it is finally almost up and going. But you absolutely want to be signed up for the newsletter. As I move into the podcast, I will be bringing on guests. I will be doing my six city tour next year, like all the things of the things, and you do not want to miss out. So, again, a quick recap of what this is, who I am, what we're doing. So, 31 Days of SJ is something that I do every year. This is the third year. I typically do it before I drop something spectacular. Last year, it was a new book, it was The Friendships Over 35. The year before that, I think it was another book. I think I did. That was the year I did maybe two or three books back to back. So every year it like precludes something big. So this year is a little bit different. It is so if you've been here for a while, you know my goal was to have a podcast last year. All things over 35. It would have immediately followed the friendship series. Like the buzz was hot, it was going. I had like over 100 people signed up to be guests on the podcast, and then God said, "Girl, sit down. You are not ready." And if you know me, you know how devastating it was. One thing I pride myself on is if I say I'm going to do something, I absolutely do it. And I absolutely do it with excellence. So to have said that I was going to do a podcast, to have collected emails, to have made flyers, and for it not to happen, absolutely did something to me. Let me be clear. But I am in a season where I am trying to be obedient. I am again transitioning from heathen to holy, and a lot of that means not necessarily resting on what I have in terms of my vision and kind of listening a little bit more to God to see what He has. So He said stop, I stopped. I'm glad I did though, because what I have learned throughout this time is if I had did this last year, it would have been so sensationalized, so hip, so full of drama and chaos. It would have done the total opposite of what I am trying to do this year. So I am grateful for the pause. I am grateful. I did not understand it. I was frustrated. I was irritated. But one thing I've learned is when I try to do stuff on my own, it may work out temporarily, but the ultimate goal is never achieved because God wasn't in it. So here we are this year. So I am single. When I say single, that means unmarried. And one of my goals was I'm leaving 2025 with something. Like I think it was 2024. I have the post. It's up on my Instagram. I literally say I just decided I'm getting married December 31st, 2025. Like no groom at this time, no boyfriend, no nothing. No, I'm not proposing, but that is what I wanted to do. So one thing I also learned was that where was I gonna meet the people at? I don't go nowhere but work in church and then work in church. Not frequent, infrequent outings with my two homegirls here in Charlotte. But besides that, work in church, or I'm out with my kids. So where was I gonna meet a whole husband at? So I joined a group at church, and it was about online dating. And it was a young lady who met her husband on, I don't know, Hinge, Black, something. But fast forward, they got married. They've been married 18 years. Now they teach about this experience in one of our Christian groups. So I'm like, okay, forget it. Let's just try it and see what is the worst that can happen. So I started telling these stories of my close friends on Instagram. Like, about meeting these guys, going on these dates, the ups, the downs, the funnies, like getting advice, learn teaching people all the game. Like my friends and my close friends are like, girl, do a master class. Like, girl, we need whatever you got going on. And so I was like, well, when I do 31 days of SJ this year, maybe I can use that experience. The experience of going on 100 dates in 4 months. That's 120 days for 100 dates. Now, those dates may have been things, big elaborate dinners, but a lot of it was coffee, a lot of it was the park, lunch, happy hour, It's really a lot easier than it sounds. I promise it was. And then I also did this thing called non-attached dating. So what non-attached dating was for me was a way to date as many people as I wanted to safely. And when I mean safely, I mean like emotionally and physically. So non-attached dating is no kissing in the mouth. Absolutely the hell not. No full frontal hugging for the purpose of, if I'm not having sex, I have no desire to arouse you because now we got to fight. I'm not interested. And nobody knew where I stayed at. So any date that I went on, we met wherever we were going. There were instances where I would have went to their homes and then we got in their car or my car even, but like nobody ever knew where I stayed at. And then nobody had my real number. Everybody has the business number because it's public anyway. And like what I learned about Google Meet, Google Voice is if you delete or block somebody through that particular app, it comes back like your phone is disconnected. So instead of a man feeling like I've rejected him, he'll just feel like I'm a bum and my phone is turned off. So all is well. So like that is what the four pillars of my non-attached dating was, and what that was a way for me not to attach, because what I learned is that you can find yourself in a situation with somebody who you really know you should not be in a situation with. You will find yourself connected to somebody that you should not be because you have allowed yourself to emotionally connect with them. That may mean just sharing intimate details. Of course, we know that that means having sex, but that means like putting yourself in intimate spaces with them, especially when you've been single for as long as I've been, especially when you get older and you are like, I don't want to say desperation, but you were at that point where it's like, okay, I'm 40 plus. What we doing here? Like, let's go. So I just really wanted to put myself in a space where I could explore this opportunity safely, without with as little emotional collateral damage as humanly possible. And it was a very successful. I have met amazing men. I've also met weirdos, but I have met amazing men for the most part. And whether or not I am single as of the day that you see this is really up in the air. Like you got to just keep watching to find out. So that's kind of what 31 Days of SJ is. Who am I? So SJ Stevens. I am from St. Louis, born and raised. I lived in Cincinnati for a little while when I was previously married. I am now in Charlotte. It'll be 3 years in October. So professionally, I am in the field of law enforcement. I have been a police officer, correctional officer. Um, I do a lot of work in the domestic violence realm, in the nonprofit realm. So I am like exactly who I say I am professionally. I am most known as being a grant writer. If you are from St. Louis, I have absolutely helped you or helped somebody that you know get a grant, write a grant. I've sat on committees to approve grants. I have a grant writing book. I'm also a 7-time author. All of the books will be relaunched. I am actually, so I've always done everything independent. And that also was me like not listening to God and not trusting God. I thought that I had to do everything myself because I want every single dollar. I needed it, not realizing that if I actually just stepped back, did the work, and relinquish the control. Like I can hire a management company, and instead of me selling, $30,000 in books in 3 months, I can give this to a management company, and they can triple that, like in the same amount of time. So like I will be relaunching everything the appropriate way sooner rather than later. That's why I say you got to be signed up for the newsletter. In addition to doing these series, the dating experiments, the podcast, which will be all things over 35. I also am going to reopen up my business hub. So I have the Stevens Institute of Excellence. That's where like all of my grant writing sits, my book writing, because I've also got about 25, 26 authors under me. I teach book writing, I teach grant writing, I teach nonprofit leadership skills, how to form your board, how to start your nonprofit, how to do all the things of the things, right? Even how to get business funding. So I am putting all of those things in one hub. Again, the Stevens Institute of Excellence. So on this new website, you will find the information about the podcast, and then you will have the business side. So like we are over there like building a whole legacy, whether it's telling your story or whether it's literally building your legacy by building something sustainable, a business, a nonprofit, writing a book, whatever it is. We are doing all of the things this year, y'all. So if you are not subscribed, please do. because more information will come down. Again, the website should be done by the end of this week. Fingers crossed, because that I am doing by myself. Only because I want to learn how to do it by myself. But yes, y'all, like if you are new here, again, thank you so much for being here. Lock in. I promise you'll love it here. It's amazing. It's fun. I've been doing this since 2020 and I've never had a complaint. Nobody has ever said that I am not exactly who I say I am, so nothing will change. Thank you so much for watching. Again, subscribe, like, share, all the things. Have an amazing rest of your day. Mwah.